Welcome to DrivenMavens.com. My name is Arvin, and we're going to continue on with the second part of our dynamic sketching for our top-down three-quarter view BMW sketch. And boy, that was a mouthful to say. So anyway, we are kind of going to continue on from where we left off on the first part. We've got basically the foundational points and the wheelbase. We've got all the critical areas that need to be defined for the car sketch before we start to get into some more details. Okay, so I'm going to go down. I'm going to start to define some of the more of the surfaces that we have at the bottom of the sketch, and this portion of it is going to run a little bit longer. So what I would like to do is probably around the 2-minute mark, we're going to speed up the video and maybe make it twice as fast so that we can just get through the cross-hatching portion of it. And that's going to be kind of fun because we'll start to identify all the forms and the contours and the indentations, all that stuff, and how to shade those things up very quickly. So here I'm going to start indicating a little bit of the interior, start blocking in some shapes to where the window is going to be. I'm just kind of marking certain areas here. We've got the center line section right at the windshield, and then I'm going to indicate lightly the antenna that goes at the top of the roof. Now notice that some of these lines have been sketched in pretty lightly, and now I'm going to start to accentuate some of those lines. So I'm going to increase the line weight, draw some attention, especially here in the front. Start to play around with the graphic, get the shadow in here. And just notice how, as I do this, anytime I start to block in or start shading in particular areas, I'm pretty consistent with going in one particular direction. I don't change it up that often. Right now I'm going to go back and reinforce the tires, the ellipses. I'm just going to darken up the ellipses there a little bit. And then we're going to go to the headlamps. Start indicating where the headlamps are going to be. We're going to start adding some darks and some lights to indicate the details there. And then I'm just going to create a quick reflection. So as I'm doing this, you can kind of see that attention is being drawn to that particular area. Once again, the grille is always going to be a very powerful statement for an OEM. It helps to kind of define that particular brand. So we've got the BMW grille, the split grille. We got a little bit of that chamfered edge right below the headlamps. Okay, there we go. If you hadn't heard some of the previous lessons, what I'm using here is a software called Painter 12, and I am using, I believe, the 6B pencil. Previous tutorials had always been using Photoshop. In fact, it's been my tool of choice for the last couple of years, and I'd been using Painter. I hadn't used probably Painter since I think '99 or something. Quite some time ago. Man, I can't believe that. '99. Maybe around 2000, 2001. And finally, after such a long time, so many years, I decided to kind of go back and start using it again. And now I'm wondering, what was I thinking to not use it? It's just a fantastic piece of software. The registration and how accurate it is with getting your line weight. It's very close. Some of the sketches that I've done in the pencil and then adding some sort of texture in the back or to the pencil really gives it a very authentic, realistic pencil sketch look to it. It also helps when you got a tablet PC where you're able to draw directly on the screen. Alright, so you see I've sort of been rambling on here and not explaining what I've been doing, but just look at the cross-hatching that's been done. Once again, the cross-hatching is all done with parallel lines and they're pretty consistent, and now we've passed that 4-minute mark and the video is now sort of accelerated to go twice as fast as my normal drawing speed, which is okay. I think now you've kind of gotten the gist of how quickly I work, and now it's just all about execution. So the first part of the video, on part 1, we finished up with getting the foundation work done, and this part is about getting into the details. Here we are getting into laying down the seats, the position of the seats relative to the interior. Now all this should follow your perspective lines, and that perspective lines are dictated by the minor axis of your ellipse. So just notice the windshield, the rear of the vehicle, all of them seem to follow the perspective lines that relate to it. You don't see anything diverging or anything looking completely out of whack. I'm not going to say this sketch is perfect. It's not perfect. It's far from perfect, but I think that one thing for you to understand is just to make sure that the perspective lines are accurate to begin with. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to just increase the value of the shadow underneath the car. And now I'm going to start adding those same crosshatch details here to the side window. So we've got the B pillar here, and that's something that is pretty interesting with reflections. I think that it is important to note that when you've got reflections from the environment, that some of the trim, which is the right at the center of the B pillar, as I crosshatch that area to show the reflection, some of the trim or the areas where you've got the B pillar, they're always going to end up being a little bit darker in value because it is a darker part of the vehicle. The plastic molding may be black. So then when you have the reflection on there, that reflection that's casted onto that particular surface is going to have a higher value. So that's why it's going to capture it at a darker value. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, you've also see the windshield. I've got the reflection there as well. I'm just adding, and I had to erase. There's some parts of it that I decided to erase there. By the way, just to let you know, I normally don't erase anything. You know, any mistakes I have, I just let it go. But if the sketch is coming out looking pretty decent, okay, I might just clean it up a little bit. So this is coming together, coming together pretty good. All right, once again, I'm going to accentuate the reflection, so I'm going to darken that up a little bit more. I'm going to define the rear of the vehicle, and then I'm going to start to put in the rest of the shadow line. And I'm just going to roughly crosshatch that area in. Alright, so we're getting pretty close. I'm just going to start adding some more reflections right in the roof line, so we've got some casted reflections from the environment. Notice I've also kind of put in a quick background there. Nothing big. Kind of sorry that I put that background, but oh well. Alright, we're going to get into the tire. We're going to just add a little bit more details. I'm going to draw the inner portion of the wheels. I don't want to labor too much over this, so I'm just going to draw some simple spokes to finish this thing off. There we go. And that should be enough for it. Now, notice as you look at the sketch, the profile, the entire profile of the vehicle, or the perimeter, I shouldn't say profile, but the perimeter of the vehicle, just notice how dark those lines are. So I've kind of, in a way, highlighted the entire shape of the car. That's something that you want to practice doing, is the line quality, line weight. The line weight and the line quality of your work. And that takes some time, because depending on the medium that you're using, you know, even though I'm doing this on Painter, you should realize that as you are beginning your drawing on your passions and stuff, that it always starts with drawing on paper first. That's really where you're going to solidify your understanding and get really good at drawing. Because once that's done, then going digital is just another tool. You've got your foundation down, and all you're doing is just transferring that knowledge and that expertise to the digital medium. So you just want to make sure that all the lessons that you're learning here, that you're not going off to buy a Wacom tablet. You're just going to practice that on paper. So that's about it. We're wrapping up this tutorial. I hope all of you enjoyed this and that it gave you some good insights. Wishing you all a terrific Christmas holiday, and we'll see you back here next week. Have a good one.